Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, thank you for sitting through these long hearings and holding them. I'll keep my comments brief and mostly to the point. My name is Andrew Van Hise, and I've been a resident of Idaho for 4, maybe 5 months now. In August, my wife and I married, and we moved here to Boise. I've learned to call it Boise. We moved here to Boise to follow my wife's employment and her ministry. The first thing I want to say is how much we love it here. I know you all hear this a lot, but with hardly an exception, each person we've met here in Idaho has been warm, welcoming, and respectful. And I'm appreciative that even in as divisive and passionate a discussion as this, participants on both sides of the debate have been respectful of one another. The perspective I want to bring here to this conversation is one of a businessman who has been on Wall Street his entire career and is now deciding whether to move his small investment business to Boise. Either I lease office space, hire a staff, contract with service providers here, and create Idaho jobs, or I commute to New York, Seattle, or the Bay Area. My business is small compared to some larger enterprises that might consider moving to this state, but I imagine my concerns are shared by decision makers at some larger companies. And what I care about beyond questions of market and resources is that in Idaho, commerce is fluid and free of excess regulation and social bias. I understand the fears expressed in earlier testimony by a couple of business owners. In fact, one of the greatest expenses for investment firms is regulatory compliance. But HB2 is not an increase in my regulatory burden. Rather, the codified civil rights protections of Idaho law are reassurance that the Idaho firms with which I do business hire the best people for the job without regard to religion, national origin, or sexual orientation or gender identity. And my own clients can have the same confidence that my employment decisions and my investment advice are centered around their best interests and not my social opinions or religious beliefs. In earlier testimony, we heard, quote, "You can't legislate kindness." This bill does not pretend to do that, but in its protections, it puts forward respect for human dignity of others as a foundation for commercial interaction. And it's on this foundation that I can train and mentor my employees and expect from them the best that they can give. And similarly, on this foundation, I can build a commercial relationship with my clients and my business counterparties. It's not in my experience to be able to speak to the anguish of discrimination, and I'll leave it to others to argue the moral and ethical issues.
30 seconds.
Thank you. The concern I'm voicing today is purely mercenary, and in that voice I can say, by passing HB2, you send the message that in Idaho, the business of business is quite simply business. Thank you.
Are there questions? Thank you.